History is not as clear as we think. We are taught that the past moves in a straight line, from stone tools to modern machines. But every time archaeologists dig deeper, that timeline starts to crack. Across the world, scientists have discovered ancient objects, structures, and technologies that should not exist. At least, not according to what we think ancient people were capable of. Massive stones that weigh hundreds of tons. Maps that show continents before they were discovered. Machines found in shipwrecks that seem too advanced for their time. These are not myths. These are not internet stories. These are real discoveries, studied by historians, archaeologists, and scientists, and many of them still have no clear explanation. Today, we will explore 21 mysterious ancient discoveries that continue to confuse modern science. Each one raises a dangerous question. Were ancient civilizations more advanced than we are told? Let's begin. Fact 1. The Antikythera Mechanism, the world's first computer. In the year 1901, Greek sponge divers were exploring a shipwreck near the small island of Antikythera in the Mediterranean Sea. What they expected to find were statues and coins. What they did not expect was an object that would later be called the most mysterious machine of the ancient world. At first, it looked like nothing more than a corroded lump of bronze. But when scientists studied it closely, they realized something shocking. Inside the object were dozens of precisely cut bronze gears, all working together in a complex system. Radiocarbon dating later confirmed its age, around 100 BCE. This device, now known as the Antikythera Mechanism, could calculate solar eclipses, lunar cycles, planetary movements, and even predict the timing of ancient Olympic Games. In simple terms, it worked like an analog computer. That is what makes it so disturbing. According to history books, machines with gear systems this advanced should not exist until at least 1,400 years later, during the medieval period. Yet here it was, built by ancient Greeks using hand tools. Even today, scientists still debate how it was made, who built it, and why similar machines were never found again. Some experts believe this level of knowledge was lost after the fall of ancient civilizations. The Antikythera Mechanism forces us to face an uncomfortable truth. Ancient people may have understood science and engineering far better than we ever imagined. Fact 2. Göbekli Tepe, the temple that changed human history. In southeastern Turkey stands a site so old, so unexpected, that it completely rewrote the story of civilization. Its name is Göbekli Tepe, and it dates back to around 9600 BCE, more than 11,500 years ago. That alone is shocking. But the real mystery goes much deeper. Before Göbekli Tepe was discovered, historians believed humans only built large monuments after agriculture, permanent homes, and organized societies. Göbekli Tepe destroys that idea. The people who built it were hunter-gatherers. They had no farming tools, no metal, and no cities. Yet they constructed massive stone circles, with T-shaped pillars weighing up to 10 tons each, carved with detailed images of animals like lions, snakes, and vultures. The carvings are precise, symbolic, and clearly meaningful. Even more confusing, there are no signs of daily life. No houses, no cooking areas, only ritual structures. And then comes the biggest mystery of all. After centuries of use, the builders intentionally buried the entire site under tons of soil. They didn't abandon it, they hid it. Why would a prehistoric society invest so much time and energy into building something only to erase it? Göbekli Tepe suggests that religion and shared belief may have created civilization, not the other way around. A truth that still unsettles archaeologists today. Fact 3. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Precision beyond belief. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2560 BCE, and even after more than 4,500 years, it remains one of the greatest engineering mysteries in human history. This pyramid is made of over 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing more than 80 tons. There were no cranes, no steel tools, and no modern machines. Yet the pyramid's base is level to within less than 1 inch across its entire surface. Even more astonishing, it is aligned to true north with an accuracy that modern buildings still struggle to achieve. But that's not all. The pyramid's dimensions reflect advanced mathematical knowledge. Its measurements closely match the value of pi, and its proportions follow the golden ratio, concepts that were supposedly unknown at the time. Despite centuries of study, no single theory fully explains how the stones were cut so precisely, how they were transported across long distances, or how they were lifted into place. Modern engineers admit that rebuilding the Great Pyramid today would be extremely difficult and extremely expensive. The Great Pyramid stands as silent evidence that ancient Egypt possessed knowledge we still don't fully understand, knowledge that may have been lost forever. Fact 4. The Baghdad Battery. Ancient electricity. In the 1930s, archaeologists working near modern-day Baghdad discovered a small clay jar that looked ordinary at first glance. But inside it was something strange. A copper cylinder and an iron rod, carefully positioned. The object was later dated to around 200 BCE, during the Parthian period. This discovery became known as the Baghdad Battery. When modern scientists recreated the object and filled it with an acidic liquid like vinegar or lemon juice, it produced a small electrical current. In basic terms, it worked like a simple battery. This immediately raised a disturbing question. According to mainstream history, electricity was not understood until the 18th and 19th centuries. Yet this ancient object appears to use the same basic principles. Some researchers believe it may have been used for electroplating, a process where electricity coats metals with gold or silver. Ancient artifacts with thin metallic coatings support this theory. Others argue that the object may have had a religious or medicinal purpose, or that the electrical effect was accidental. The problem is, there are no written records explaining its use. What makes the Baghdad Battery truly mysterious is that nothing like it appears again in history. If ancient people understood electricity, even at a basic level, why was this knowledge not passed down? The Baghdad Battery remains one of the strongest pieces of evidence that ancient technology may have been far more advanced and far more fragile than we realize. Fact 5. The Nazca Lines. Messages for the sky. In the dry desert plains of southern Peru lie enormous drawings carved directly into the ground. These are known as the Nazca Lines, created between 500 BCE and 500 CE by the Nazca civilization. There are hundreds of these designs, straight lines stretching for miles, geometric shapes, and giant figures of animals like monkeys, birds, spiders, and whales. Some of them are over 200 feet long. The mystery is not just what they show, it's how they were made. The lines are so large that they can only be fully recognized from high above the ground. But the Nazca people had no balloons, no aircraft, and no elevated vantage points that we know of. Even more strange, the lines are perfectly straight and proportioned, despite being made without metal tools or modern measuring equipment. And because of the region's stable climate, they have survived for over 1,500 years. Archaeologists still debate their purpose. Some believe they were part of religious rituals connected to water and fertility. Others think they formed astronomical calendars. But one question remains unanswered. Why create massive artworks meant to be seen from the sky, when no one could fly? Fact 6. Roman concrete. Stronger than modern cement. Modern concrete cracks, weakens, and erodes within decades. But Roman concrete, created over 2,000 years ago, is still standing strong today. Structures like the Pantheon, Roman aqueducts, and ancient harbours have survived earthquakes, storms, and even constant contact with seawater. This puzzled scientists for centuries. Recent studies revealed the secret. Roman concrete was made using volcanic ash, lime, and seawater. When seawater enters the concrete, it triggers chemical reactions that form new crystalline structures, actually making the material stronger over time instead of weaker. This discovery shocked modern engineers. The Romans had created a building material that heals itself, something scientists are only now trying to replicate. And yet, the exact formula was lost after the fall of the Roman Empire. The mystery is not just how they made it, but why such valuable knowledge disappeared. Roman concrete proves that ancient civilizations didn't just build for beauty, they built for eternity. Fact 7. The Piri Reis Map. Knowledge from a lost world. In the year 1513, an Ottoman naval admiral named Piri Reis created a world map that would remain forgotten for centuries. When it was rediscovered in 1929 inside the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, historians were stunned by what they saw. The map shows the western coast of Europe and Africa, the eastern coastline of South America, and most mysteriously, a landmass that many researchers believe resembles Antarctica, drawn without ice. Here's the problem. Antarctica was officially discovered in 1820, more than 300 years after the map was made. And it has been covered in ice for thousands of years. Yet the coastline on the Piri Reis map appears accurate beneath the ice. Even more shocking is Piri Reis's own explanation. In his notes, he wrote that he copied the map from much older source maps, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great, and possibly earlier. This suggests that ancient civilizations may have possessed advanced geographical and surveying knowledge, including ways to measure long distances and coastlines with extreme accuracy. Modern historians still debate whether the landmass truly represents Antarctica or a distorted coastline. But no one denies that the map contains information that should not have been available in the 16th century. The Piri Reis map raises a disturbing possibility. Was advanced knowledge inherited from a forgotten civilization long before recorded history? Fact 8. The Sumerian King List. Rulers who lived for thousands of years. The ancient Sumerians, one of the world's earliest known civilizations, left behind a document called the Sumerian King List. It records the names of kings who ruled Sumer both before and after a great flood. At first glance, the list seems historical. Many of the later kings are known real figures, confirmed by archaeology. But the earlier section of the list is deeply unsettling. According to the text, the first kings ruled for thousands of years each. Some reigns lasted over 30,000 years, far beyond any human lifespan. Historians do not believe these numbers are literal. Some argue they were symbolic, meant to represent power or divine status. Others believe the numbers may reflect different systems of timekeeping that we no longer understand. What makes the list especially mysterious is that it mixes myth and verified history in a single continuous record. There is no clear line separating legend from reality. The mention of a great flood also mirrors flood stories found in many ancient cultures, including later biblical accounts. The Sumerian king list leaves us with an uncomfortable question. Is it a mythologized record or a distorted memory of a forgotten past? Fact 9. The stone spheres of Costa Rica. Perfect geometry from the past. Deep in the jungles of Costa Rica, archaeologists discovered hundreds of nearly perfect stone spheres scattered across the landscape. Some are small enough to carry, others weigh over 15 tons. These spheres were created by the Dikis culture between 300 and 1500 CE, long before European contact. What makes them extraordinary is their precision. Many are almost perfectly round, with minimal deviation, something extremely difficult to achieve even with modern tools. No metal tools were found near the sites, and the stone used is incredibly hard. Their purpose remains unknown. Some spheres were arranged in straight lines or geometric patterns, suggesting they had meaning, possibly social, ceremonial, or astronomical. But there are no written records explaining them. Why would an ancient culture invest so much time and energy into shaping massive stones into perfect spheres, and then leave no explanation behind? The stone spheres of Costa Rica remain silent witnesses to a level of craftsmanship and intention that modern science still struggles to fully explain. Fact 10. The Moai statues of Easter Island, stones that moved without machines. Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui, is one of the most isolated places on Earth. Yet scattered across this small island are nearly 900 massive stone statues, called Moai, carved between 1250 and 1500 CE. Some of these statues are over 30 feet tall and weigh more than 80 tons. They were carved from volcanic rock at a quarry located miles away from where many of them now stand. Here is where the mystery begins. The island had no metal tools, no large animals, and according to early records, very limited trees during the period when the statues were moved. Traditional methods using logs and ropes should not have worked, especially for statues this heavy. Yet the Moai were transported across uneven terrain, hills and valleys. Local oral traditions claim the statues were made to walk upright using ropes. Modern experiments have shown this is possible, but extremely risky and inefficient. Many statues along the paths were dropped and broken, suggesting trial and error. Another mystery is why they were built at all. The Moai are believed to represent ancestors, watching over villages. Most face inland, not toward the sea. Even today, archaeologists still debate how the statues were moved so far, why so many were abandoned, and what caused the sudden collapse of the society that built them. The Moai stand as frozen proof of human ambition and human limits. Fact 11. The Voynich Manuscript, a book no one can read. There is a book in the world that has defeated historians, cryptographers, and artificial intelligence for over 600 years. It is known as the Voynich Manuscript. Radiocarbon dating shows it was created between 1404 and 1438. The parchment is real, the ink is real, but the language is completely unknown. The manuscript contains over 200 pages filled with strange symbols, unknown plants, astronomical diagrams, and images of human figures bathing in mysterious fluids. Despite intense study, no one has ever decoded the text. Some experts believe it is written in a lost language or a complex cipher. Others argue it could be an early form of scientific or medical knowledge. A few suggest it may be an elaborate hoax, but that theory struggles to explain its internal structure and consistency. Modern AI analysis shows the text follows linguistic patterns similar to real languages, not random nonsense. This suggests it carries meaning, but meaning we can no longer access. The Voynich manuscript is terrifying in a quiet way. It reminds us that knowledge can exist, survive, and still be completely lost, even when it is right in front of us. Fact 12. Ancient Egyptian brain surgery. Medicine before modern science. Thousands of years ago, long before modern hospitals or anesthesia, ancient Egyptians were performing brain surgery, and patients were surviving. Archaeologists have discovered skulls dating back over 4,000 years that show clear signs of trepanation, a surgical procedure where a hole is cut into the skull. Even more shocking, many skulls show healing around the edges, proving the patients lived long after the operation. This means ancient doctors understood where to cut, how to avoid fatal damage, and how to care for patients afterward. Some surgeries were likely done to relieve pressure after head injuries. Others may have had ritual or medical purposes we no longer understand. The tools were simple: stone blades, copper instruments, yet the results were often successful. There are even ancient Egyptian medical texts describing injuries, symptoms, and treatments with surprising clarity. The mystery is not that they practiced surgery. The mystery is how they knew enough to do it safely, without modern anatomy, imaging, or sterilization. Ancient Egyptian medicine was far more advanced than history books once admitted. Fact 13. The Longyou Caves, a massive underground mystery. In 1992, a villager in China decided to drain a small pond in Zhejiang province. What he revealed beneath the water stunned the world. Hidden underground was a vast artificial cave, and it was not alone. Eventually, archaeologists discovered 24 enormous man-made caves, now known as the Longyou Caves. These structures are estimated to be over 2,000 years old, yet no historical records mention their construction. Each cave is immense, with towering walls, massive pillars, and ceilings covered in uniform chisel marks, all carved by hand. Millions of tons of rock were removed, yet there is no evidence of where that stone went. Even more puzzling, the caves show remarkable engineering precision. The walls are angled perfectly to prevent collapse, and the caves have survived earthquakes and flooding for centuries. There are no signs of soot, meaning no obvious light source was used during construction. And there are no artifacts explaining their purpose. Some researchers believe the caves may have been used for storage, military purposes, or rituals. Others suggest they were never finished. The Long U caves represent a massive investment of labor and planning, yet they exist without explanation. It is as if an entire construction project was erased from history.
Fact 14. The walls of Sacsayhuaman, stones that defy earthquakes. High above the city of Cusco in Peru stands the fortress of Sacsayhuaman, built by the Inca civilization in the 15th century. At first glance, it looks like a stone wall. But when you get closer, the mystery becomes clear. The walls are made of gigantic stones, some weighing over 100 tons, cut and shaped to fit together with astonishing precision. No mortar was used. The stones lock together so tightly that not even a razor blade can fit between them. What makes this even more incredible is that the Inca had no iron tools, no wheels, and no written language. Yet their construction is earthquake-proof. When earthquakes strike the region, modern buildings collapse, but Sacsayhuaman remains standing. The stones move slightly and then settle back into place. Archaeologists still debate how the Inca cut, transported, and fitted these massive blocks with such accuracy. Experimental archaeology has failed to fully replicate their techniques. The walls of Sacsayhuaman prove that advanced engineering does not always require advanced machines, but it does require knowledge we no longer fully understand. Fact 15. The Nebra Sky Disk, Europe's oldest star map. In 1999, looters in Germany uncovered a bronze disk buried in the ground. At first, it seemed ordinary. But scientific testing later revealed something extraordinary. The object, now known as the Nebra Sky Disk, dates back to around 1600 BCE, making it over 3,600 years old. It is considered the oldest known concrete depiction of the cosmos. The disk shows the sun or full moon, a crescent moon, and a cluster of stars that closely match the Pleiades. Gold arcs along the edge appear to mark solstice points, showing deep understanding of the solar calendar. This discovery shocked historians. It proved that Bronze Age Europeans had advanced astronomical knowledge, long before written scientific records were believed to exist in the region. Even more mysterious, the disk appears to have been modified over time, suggesting evolving understanding of the sky. The Nebra Sky Disk reveals that ancient people were not just looking at the stars, they were measuring, tracking, and understanding them in ways we are only beginning to appreciate. Fact 16. The Dendera Reliefs, ancient light or sacred symbol. Inside the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, Egypt, there are stone reliefs that have caused intense debate among historians and scientists. At first glance, these carvings look religious, figures, symbols, and ritual scenes. But when you look closer, something unusual appears. One relief shows a long, oval-shaped object with what looks like a filament-like structure inside, connected to a pillar and held by priests. To many observers, it strongly resembles a modern light bulb. This immediately sparked controversy. Some researchers suggested that ancient Egyptians may have used some form of artificial lighting, possibly electrical or chemical. Supporters of this idea point out that deep tombs show very little soot, which would normally be left behind by torches or oil lamps. However, mainstream Egyptologists argue that the images are purely symbolic. They believe the oval shape represents a lotus flower, and the inner figure is a snake, symbolizing creation and rebirth in Egyptian mythology. The problem is that both explanations leave questions unanswered. If the reliefs are symbolic, why do they appear so technically detailed? And if they are literal, where is the physical evidence of such technology? No tools, wires, or lamps have ever been found. The Dendera reliefs remain one of the most misunderstood and debated images of ancient Egypt, a reminder that ancient symbols can look dangerously modern to our eyes. Fact 17, the Dropa stones, a discovery lost in debate. In the 1930s, stone discs were reportedly found in the Bayan Karaula Mountains, located on the border between China and Tibet. These objects became known as the Dropa stones. The discs were said to be about 12 inches wide, with a hole in the center and spiral grooves etched from the middle outward. Some early reports claimed the grooves contained microscopic writing. The story quickly became controversial. Some accounts suggested the stones told the story of a lost people called the Dropa, while others claimed the discs were linked to astronomical or cultural records. However, no confirmed translations exist, and many original artifacts were either lost or remain inaccessible. Mainstream archaeologists are deeply divided on this topic. Some believe the Dropa stones were misidentified ritual objects or natural formations. Others argue that the lack of surviving evidence makes strong conclusions impossible. What makes the Dropa stones mysterious is not what they prove, but how unclear their history is. The line between real archaeology and exaggerated reporting is blurred. The Dropa stones serve as a warning in ancient history. Not every discovery is fully preserved, and once evidence is lost, the truth may never be recovered. Fact 19. The Ulfbert Viking swords, steel before its time. Between the 9th and 11th centuries, Viking warriors used a type of sword that should not have existed. These weapons were marked with the inscription, plus Ulfbear plus T, and today they are known as Ulfbert swords. What makes them extraordinary is their metal. Modern analysis shows that genuine Ulfbert swords were made from high-carbon steel with extremely low impurities, a level of quality not seen again in Europe until the Industrial Revolution, nearly 800 years later. At the time, European steel production methods could not reach the temperatures needed to produce such pure metal. This suggests the Vikings either discovered a lost technique or imported advanced steel from the Middle East or Central Asia, where crucible steel was known. Not all Ulfbert swords are equal. Many are poorly made copies, proving the originals were so advanced that others tried, and failed, to replicate them. The mystery lies in how Viking smiths gained access to such superior material, and why the technology disappeared. The Ulfbert swords prove that ancient trade networks were far more complex than once believed, and that technological knowledge could appear, vanish, and be forgotten. Fact 20. Ancient earthquake-proof temples, engineering without computers. Across the ancient world, there are structures that have survived thousands of years of earthquakes, while modern buildings around them collapse. In Greece, ancient temples were built using interlocking stone blocks that could move slightly during seismic activity. Some were placed on layers of sand or gravel, allowing the structure to absorb shocks. In Peru, Inca buildings used irregular stone shapes that fit together like a puzzle. During earthquakes, the stones shift and then settle back into place. These designs were not accidental. Ancient builders clearly studied nature and learned from experience, developing construction methods that protected their cities long before modern earthquake engineering existed. The mystery is how they understood these principles without mathematics, computers, or modern materials. These ancient temples remind us that engineering intelligence does not always follow a straight line of progress. Fact 21. The Lost City of Dwarka, a civilization beneath the sea. Off the coast of Gujarat, India, underwater explorers discovered stone structures resting beneath the Arabian Sea. Walls, streets, and foundations lay submerged, forming what many believe to be the remains of ancient Dwarka. Dwarka is mentioned in ancient Indian texts as a grand city that was lost to the sea after the death of Lord Krishna. For centuries, the story was considered myth. But underwater archaeology revealed structures dating back over 4,000 years, with clear signs of human construction. Stone anchors, walls, and organized layouts suggest a planned coastal city that was submerged due to rising sea levels or tectonic activity. While scholars debate the exact dating and identification, no one denies that an ancient settlement now lies underwater. The lost city of Dvarka forces us to accept a powerful truth. Entire civilizations can vanish, not slowly, but suddenly, leaving only fragments behind. These 21 discoveries don't break science. They don't prove fantasy. But they do prove something equally powerful. Human history is incomplete. Advanced knowledge has existed, disappeared, and re-emerged again and again. What we call modern may simply be rediscovered wisdom. And somewhere beneath the earth, the ocean, or the sand, the next mystery is still waiting. If this video made you question what you know about the past, like the video, subscribe, and share it. Because history isn't dead. It's hiding.